In early 2019, the Baltimore County Police Department requested help from special agents of our department's Homeland Security investigations. The police were investigating a local robbery that led them to a very dangerous perpetrator of sex trafficking and drug distribution. The suspect was creating and using drug dependency as a tool of coercion and manipulation, forcing his victims into the sex trade from which he profited. Our federal agents worked with the local police, tracked the offender, interviewed witnesses, and executed electronic search warrants on social media platforms. 8 victims were identified, all of whom struggled with the drug dependencies their trafficker had cultivated. We built the case together. As we did so, our victim assistance specialists provided support to the victims. They connected them with addiction services, coordinated appearances at trial, arranged for their testimony, and communicated with the families. 2 months ago, the trafficker was convicted and sentenced to 30 years in prison. Our team continues to work with the survivors to move them into a safe, secure, and stable living environment. We did this all in partnership with the Department of Justice, the Department of Health and Human Services, and our other federal and community partners. I'm very proud to be a part of today's event and to work in support of the task force, representing the dedicated public servants across the Department of Homeland Security, who in partnership with all of you, commit themselves to combating human trafficking every day. We do so because we understand profoundly that the dignity of every individual must be protected and every individual deserves safety. Tony, once again, thank you for your leadership, and we're grateful for the President's leadership and direction, including through his creation of our interagency task force. We in the Department of Homeland Security do a lot to fight against human trafficking. During this past year, ICE's Homeland Security investigations made more than 2,360 human trafficking arrests and assisted more than 728 victims. U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services approved 559 T visas for victims of trafficking. Customs and Border Protection seized more than 1,550 shipments containing nearly $500 million in merchandise linked to forced labor overseas, a 9-fold increase over the previous year. Just yesterday, in our role as lead agency of the Forced Labor Enforcement Task Force, the department launched implementation of the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, calling for public input on how to best ensure that goods produced in whole or in part by forced labor in the Xinjiang and elsewhere in China are not imported into the United States. Earlier today, I designated a senior accountable official to prevent human trafficking in all DHS contracts and acquisitions. All of these efforts speak to 2 foundational principles. First is the importance of combating human trafficking using a victim-centered approach across our policies, programs, and activities. This is not only the right thing to do, it also enables law enforcement to better detect, investigate, and prosecute the traffickers. The second principle is partnership. DHS is fundamentally a department of partnerships. This is certainly true in our fight against human trafficking. As we saw in Baltimore, we collaborate with state and local law enforcement who share our commitment. Through the DHS Blue campaign, we deepen these partnerships with state, local, tribal, and territorial governments. Every day, we work directly with victims and non-governmental organizations, and we're proud to partner with all of you. Tony, thank you again.